This is getting real now. Very, very techie. We're getting closer to the truth by the second. I feel like we already know the truth and have reported on it, but we'll get to that. Adrian Newey is not going to be going across to Maranello. The dream team that is Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton and Adrian Newey is no longer as far as 2025. Can't even pronounce my words because I'm far too excited. And again, remember that all Formula One publications are made equal, but some are more equal than others. Motorsport Italy reporting today that Adrian Newey will not be going to Maranello. It's techie this, and primarily a function of the fact that Adrian Newey doesn't want to leave the UK. He wants to work. Listen, I've said a gazillion times, if you want to know who Adrian Newey is, just go and read the book, How to Build a Car. He's told you everything about his thesis, his personality, that he doesn't want to leave the UK, that previously he's been jet setting all over the world, and his marriages, not this one, but the ones that came before, have been sacrificed at the altar of his F1 ambitions, and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Hence why he's going to stop in the UK, meaning that there are only two teams left in the running for him. Those, of course, being Lawrence Stroll's Aston Martin, the Green Machine, and Zach Brown's McLaren. Oh, the humanity. Here's what Italian Motorsport have said, that the English genius prefers to stay in Great Britain. He's reportedly left the Scuderia, selecting the offers that have arrived from English teams. He will not be able to make his choice official before the end of September due to Red Bull contractual constraints, but it's increasingly clear that the intended destination is not Maranello. Oh, the humanity. Everybody who said previously that he'd signed a contract with Ferrari already was talking nonsense. Mention no names. Mark Presley, the F1 Elvis. What are we talking about? He said that at the paddock it was clear blue, that the knowledge was, the word on the F1 curve was that he'd already signed a contract as near as makes no difference to Scuderia Ferrari. Tosh, nonsense, absolutely not true. This is what Italian Motorsport are saying. The road to bring Adrian Newey to Maranello has become increasingly a very steep climb. Rumours have emerged that in recent days, indications are that Aston Martin and McLaren are the two possible future destinations for the F1 genius that is Adrian Newey, with the former currently in an advantageous position, being McLaren or Aston Martin even. Go on then, they're saying Aston Martin. Here's what I think it's McLaren. You remember Eddie Jordan? Eddie Jordan being Adrian Newey's manager. Get your words out, Cameron. What's going on? Eddie Jordan is Adrian Newey's manager. When they were hosting that yacht convention, you remember the Freudian slip. Eddie Jordan said, when we get the next contract from Zach or whoever, backtrack, walked it back quickly. Eddie Jordan is an F1 mogul, but if he is anything, it is a loudmouth. He cannot help himself. He's a truth sayer. Each and every single time since then on the FFS podcast, the Formula for Success podcast with one David Coulthard, when asked by his co-host DC about Adrian Newey and his future destinations, that's what Eddie Jordan has done. And he's the manager. He would know. Why else would he say Zach Brown? Now, some have speculated that in negotiating tactics, you might do that. You might throw that out there with a view to get a higher price from an Aston Martin, say, but I'm not buying that. Here's where I am as at July 2024. I think it's McLaren and not Aston Martin that are the favourites. Lest we forget that Rob Marshall is working there, one of the go-toest aerodynamic minds in F1, and the chap, the very first hire of Adrian Newey in his tenure at Red Bull. What do you mean? It's a reunion of sorts were Adrian Newey to go to McLaren. Italian Motorsport continues. When the divorce between Newey and Red Bull was made official, as at May the 1st, a series of speculations began about the British engineer's destination, a long list of teams, including Ferrari, with Ferrari being firmly at the top. There are those who went further, claiming during the Miami Grand Prix that that contract had been signed. However, it has not. Italian Motorsport says there is no contract signed. That has not been the case. And some say that because Ferrari are a publicly listed company even, that there would be an obligation for them to announce that to the market as soon as it happened, by virtue of the fact that they have not They have not said anything to that effect to the market. You can assume, therefore, that Adrian Newey has not signed. The negotiations between Frederick Vasseur and Newey took place and probably went beyond the classic preliminary interview, arriving at a detailed proposal. Blimey, this is techie chat. What are we doing? The one with Ferrari was, however, one of the various negotiations carried out by Newey, assisted by Eddie Jordan, committed to putting all the available options on the table. In parallel, Newey spoke with at least 3 other teams, including Aston Martin, with offer from Lawrence Stroll dates back to last March. Oh, the humanity. McLaren and Williams. All this in the name of rigorous confidentiality, also due to the commitment made by Newey with Red Bull not to disclose information regarding his future because before September. Among the insiders, the rumours have obviously continued, arriving at scenarios over the last few days in which the final choice seems to be limited to 2 teams. 2. Aston, McLaren. Oh, the humanity. And remember, he was just the other day doing an exclusive tour, right? Remember Andy Cowell got the exclusive tour treatment? Where's Andy Cowell now? Aston Martin. Adrian Newey got the same treatment. Does that mean necessarily that he will be there next too? Oh, the humanity. This is too much. Some have seen the departure of Martin Whitmer, CEO of Aston Martin, as a signal, as he was not particularly liked by Adrian. Remember we talked about this the other day? Adrian Newey's not a big Martin Whitmarsh fan. And again, you can interpret that as a sign that they're clearing the decks, can you not? That they're parting the Red Sea as far as their human resource, making it possible to get the signature of one Adrian Newey. Aston Martin, of course, I'm talking about. There's a story known in the paddock according to which it was Whitmarsh who ordered McLaren security men to take Newey from his office in the new headquarters in Woking and escort him to the car park, including a walk through the technical department with all the employees at work at the time. Oh, the humanity. Adrian Newey, therefore, would not be a fan of Martin Whitmarsh. And because of his impending departure from Aston Martin, does that not make them the favourites to get his signature then? Oh, the humanity. You can't write it, Eddie. What's going on? Funny how you can't even spell the derogatory term for are we being harsh in it? Chill out in the chat. This is serious stuff and we don't have time to be derogatory and defamatory. The rumours about Ferrari have gradually faded and then died out completely. The latest rumours have brought back the firm position of Cavallini executives who do not intend to be involved in an upward auction on the salary front. This is breaking news. Ferrari are not going to be involved in a bidding war as far as Adrian Newey. The dream team, the Holy Trinity of Charles Leclerc, Sir Lewis Carr Davidson Hamilton and Adrian Newey, all in one team, with the two first, the aforementioned, driving a car designed by the latter. Oh, the humanity, but that's not going to happen anymore. We were so close. Sir Lewis Hamilton fans around the world are pulling out their hair at this news. If Italian motorsport is anything to go by, Ferrari and Adrian Newey is a thing of myth and legend. Never going to happen. Cardile's departure has left the most important role in the technical department vacant, but it is not a space that a figure like Newey would occupy. Priorities may have changed in Maranello at the moment. The greatest urgency is to have the man at the head of the project, a figure that takes priority over a consultant, very special obviously, who has long made it clear that he does not want to be involved in a daily presence program. And again, this alludes to the role, the specificity, the remit of the role that Adrian Newey would adopt. Again, he's not going to be a minion. He won't have his hands on deck each and every single time. There will be interventions, critical ones. He will be responsible for righting the ship, tinkering to make sure it's going in the straight line, not building the car in essence from the ground up per se. Oh, the humanity. The quietest negotiation so far has been with those at McLaren, whilst in the case of Aston Martin, there was a stir with Newey's visit to the headquarters that we've talked about for Silverstone, which required all employees to leave for 2 hours. There are no signs that allow us to get an idea of the depth of the discussions with Zach Brown and Andreas Stella. There are those who claim that negotiations have stalled, as well as those who believe that his former team could be the surprise ending to a saga that began 3 months ago and is destined to continue for another 2 up until September when we get the official news. But it could not have been otherwise, given that at the centre of the scene is the technician who has won the most in history, a person who has been able to shift the technical balance for over 3 decades. Here's what I will tell you though, guys. This is about to get very techie. As far as the Adrian Newey story is concerned, there is a video. Eddie Jordan attended with his steed, his charge, Adrian Newey, a yachting convention. At that yachting convention, Eddie Jordan let leak the following. Whenever he was talking about his bicycle. Adrian Newey's an avid bike rider, however, his bike's not too handy. Eddie Jordan said, when we get the new contract from Zach, we will have to get Adrian Newey a new bike. I will say again for the avoidance of doubts. Eddie Jordan, manager of Adrian Newey at this yacht convention, leaked the following, and the words were thus: whenever we get the new contract from Zach Brown or whoever, we'll have to get Adrian Newey a new bike. I think that means, as at the time of writing, McLaren are favourites. Put this in your pipe and smoke it too, if we're trying to connect to the F1 dots. Rob Marshall works still at McLaren. He was the first hire of Adrian Newey back in the day when he first joined Red Bull. So too, if you figure that Adrian Newey is a relationship man, a man that holds people close and doesn't trust very, very often. Very, very few are within Adrian Newey's chosen circle, his network of contacts. Zach Brown, team principal or group CEO of McLaren F1, is somebody that Adrian Newey gets along with. They would call themselves friends. There are many common denominators, shared interests, classic cars. They raced the historic Monaco together, did they not? They travelled to it together in the same chartered private jet, did they not? They are friends. Adrian Newey, again, when he was on vacation, what car was he travelling in? An old school classic Aston Martin DB6. What are we doing here? They have all of these shared interests, ergo they are friends, and it would be easy, therefore, for Zach Brown to get the signature of one Adrian Newey. Here's your hot take, and you can take this one to the bank. I think McLaren are favourites. There are 2 left in the running. Take Scuderia Ferrari out of it. It will not be them. Adrian Newey is not travelling to Maranello for what? He's 65 years old. This is his last stint. This will be his last contract in Formula 1 before he hits retirement age. Why is he going to Maranello? He's said a gazillion occasions he doesn't want to do that, notwithstanding the ambitions of his wife. Like, what are we doing? 2 teams, therefore, are left in the running by extension. One is Aston Martin. The other is McLaren. If I'm reading into the tea leaves with a view to connect to the F1 dots behind the scenes, McLaren will be your favourites. I've stated for the avoidance of doubt why. Zach Brown, mutual interest. Rob Marshall too. Eddie Jordan leaks it, Freudian sleep. When we get the contract from Zach Brown, thereon in we'll get Adrian Newey a new car. It's my story and I'm sticking to it. Adrian Newey to McLaren. Not official just yet, but stay tuned. September we'll get the news. Oh, the humanity.